into.
Okay, can hardly wait for that. Let's do this.
We going coast to coast. We going coast to coast.
The Warriors sweep into the NBA Finals. Stephen A. on if they are even more vulnerable without KD. The fallout from Magic Johnson's comments continue, what that means for the summer of free agency. Plus, Big Ben meets the media today after a big apology to former teammate AB.
Sports Center, coast to coast. It's where you come when you want the most. Every city, every state and time. Get ready, we about to break it down.
We walk off the court with some fancy hats and celebrating, fifth straight finals.
All right, with respect to the outfit in Portland, it's the Warriors who are blazing the trail right now. Kerry getting into historic territory. Game 4, last night, Moda Center. There's Steph. Warriors dug themselves out of a 17-point hole for the third straight game. They don't mess around late. Steph with the ball, puts it on the floor, gets to the cup. We're tied at 104. About a minute later, still tied. Steph drives the kick to Draymond, long two ball. Yeah. Those guys, first teammates to each have a triple-double in a postseason game. So the Warriors take the lead, but the Blazers come back and tie it. Klay Thompson straight on, rattles that home. And then less than 20 seconds to go, game tied at 111. Steph kind of loses it. Kerry gets it back. What's this? Oh, they got steps. And look at his brother.
He took travel. Yeah. Sorry, bro.
He's rolling the hands. That's a travel. That's my brother. He shouldn't do that. That's cheating. So they call him for traveling. Blazers get it. Less than 10 seconds to go. And Dame Lillard can't get that one to fall.
So you know what that means, David.
Does that mean overtime?
It means some free basketball, kids. Here we go. Less than 2 minutes. Warriors down 115, 114. No good for Curry. McKinney boxes out down low, though, and puts it right back in. Good start for him. 116, 115. Warriors on it right here. No, we're going back the other way. So, David, this is what I'm thinking. I know everyone wants Dame to be Dame, but this is going to be hard to do because he's delaying and Green's inside of his jersey on him like there's no tomorrow. Gets it out of bounds. Wait, but whose ball is it, David? Do you know?
I think that's the Blazers' ball. Let me see.
Yes. They maintain possession. Blazers' ball. But here's the problem. They got 3.3 seconds remaining. We've seen him do this before. They discussed it. I'm sure they're drawing up a play for Dame here. But can he do it? And this is an ugly shot. Fade away. No good. Blazers, 4-game sweep, 119, 117. Dame, you got to respect it. And you got to respect brothers, do you not? Look at the love there.
When it matters most, we have nights like tonight where we just find a way and take team's best shots and run with it. So proud of everybody that helped make this a reality to be back in the finals and 4 more wins and get back to celebrating.
5 straight finals hasn't been done since the 60s, since Bill Russell's Celtics. Hasn't been done for a reason. It's really, really difficult. And I just can't say enough about the competitive desire of the group of players that we have here.
Careers aren't that long. If you can get 10 out of it, you're lucky. And so, to be the 5 straight finals, I don't even know what to say about it. This is what you play for.
It just felt like one big old season lumped together for the last 5 years, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Let's go back to Steph, completely dominant in this series, averaged 36.5 per over the 4 games. That's the highest scoring average in a sweep in NBA postseason history. Curry has never had much trouble with the Blazers, 10-0 in his playoff career against Portland. Let's bring in Stephen A. on this. So Stephen A., Steph has been shooting lights out. We see Draymond pushing the ball. He's been frenzied. He's been great all across the court. If they don't have KD for the finals, I know we talked about this last week and you said they'd be in trouble. Have they convinced you that they could beat any team without KD?
I'm not totally convinced about Milwaukee, but I will concede that I'm leaning in that direction. But it's not because of those 3. Draymond Green, obviously he's played lights out and he deserves a boatload of credit. Lost 23 pounds, pushing the ball up the floor like a point guard, for crying out loud. I'm talking about not just his playmaking ability, but the speed and the precision in his passing. He just deserves so much credit, not to mention the leader that he is. And Steph Curry, like I've said, is the greatest shooter that I've ever seen. Him and Klay Thompson times one of the greatest shooting backcourt, and the guts and the moxie that they bring to the table deserves a boatload of credit. But I can't say enough about Steve Kerr and his coaching staff and what they've done with the reserves, who don't get much playing time. But you know what? You've got McKinney. He starts in the absence of one of the players from the start lineup. He's put into the starting lineup last night. He puts in nearly 27 points. Okay, starts in place of Iguodala. You look at a guy like Kevon Looney. He comes off the bench, gives you over 29 minutes, and he played big minutes as well. Both of them put in 12 points. They were productive. You look at a Quinn Cook. He gave you nearly 14 minutes as your backup point guard, and he tried to make some things happen as well. Jerebko coming off the bench and giving you some things, along with Bogut that gave you over 9 minutes. You're talking about them playing 9 to 10 players, and we didn't anticipate that. We thought when KD went down, particularly in the aftermath of Boogie Cousins going down, you just look at their depth or lack thereof and assumed that Golden State would fall. That is not the case. They've looked absolutely fantastic. They've been led by their three-headed monster, but those reserves have come in ready to play. In McKinney's case, being a threat from the perimeter. In Looney's case, being a threat on the boards, being a threat in the post area. You look at all of those things, these young active bodies, combined with the experience, the moxie, and the assassins-like mentality of that three-headed monster in Draymond, Clay, and Steph, and you have the makings of another champion. And that's what we're looking at right now as being the two-time reigning defending NBA champions looking to three-peat.
And here's the bad news for whoever comes out of the East. They don't start the finals for 9 more days, so you could have KD and Boogie and Iguodala all back in the lineup for those Warriors. All right, the Lakers story, Stephen A., continues to unfold. You had Magic on your show making headlines yesterday with his version of how it all went down, said Rob Pelinka backstabbed him. Well, Ramona Shelburne reporting that Jeannie Buss asked Magic several times if there was anything she should know about his resignation, but he revealed nothing beyond his previous comments until, as she found out, as we all did on your show First Take yesterday. What do you make of that situation?
Well, what I make is that Magic Johnson feels betrayed. That's the reality of the situation, and that's why he felt the need to handle it the way that he did actually. Now, he was broached about that. He didn't care. He said, look, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to do things my way. And he was incredibly unapologetic about it. That clearly was not aimed in the direction of LeBron James, who he tells me he's going to make efforts to meet with shortly because he realizes they need to have a conversation. Although I spoke to LeBron's camp, and they said they have absolutely no problem with Magic Johnson. And their reason was simple. Magic Johnson and the Lakers have a relationship spanning over 40 years. There's no way in hell that LeBron James just arrived a year ago and he has any right to infiltrate the proceedings per se and to put his face into the mix in that regard. That's why he didn't have any comment when he was nearby at Frank Vogel's press conference. Having said all of that, whether it's Jeannie Buss having an agreement with him about what his role would be, and that being, going in a different direction rather. He spoke about Tim Harris, the COO, and business, trying to infiltrate basketball. You talked about Rob Pelinka. He felt stabbing him in the back. You talk about people disseminating a message that he wasn't at work, that he wasn't on the job. And his mentality was, to me personally, as well as on the air, that wasn't our agreement. Our agreement was you picked the staff. You wanted me to inherit Rob Pelinka and all of these other folks. You went about the business of saying we have everything in place. We need your expertise to really make final basketball related decisions, which you gave me the power to do. So other people were supposed to be out there pounding the pavement while I did what I could here, while still not divesting myself from my business interests. You knew I had a multitude of jobs, but I'm still doing this and being an overseer because I know basketball. And yet when it came time for those people to pound that pavement and bring the best information to me, which would enable me to make the best decisions, all of a sudden that wasn't good enough. Even though I got LeBron James here for you, even though I was in a position to have the requisite assets necessary to possibly acquire Anthony Davis if Dell Demps and the Pelicans were willing to do business in good faith, according to Magic Johnson. These are the things that he points out that lends itself towards him feeling betrayed, because it's not enough to sit up there and say it didn't work out or we want these people in this position. Now you're trying to paint this picture of me being some lazy dude. How the hell did I get to where I am, Stephen A., by being lazy? Does that make any sense? And the answer is hell no. It doesn't make any sense, which is why Magic shouldn't be the one answering questions. It should be the Lakers.
Magic feels betrayed. I don't know what Jeannie Buss is feeling. We saw Rob Pelinka said the whole thing was sad. We'll see how it all plays out. But bruised feelings all the way around in that Lakers organization.
Yeah.
Stephen A., good enough to stick around for us on Coast to Coast.
Thank you.
Magic's words affect free agency for the Lakers. We'll see how it all plays out.
My teammates are confident in me, and I just go out there and play.
We needed him to make plays defensively and offensively. I thought that he did a tremendous job.
And that's what winners do. That's what champions do, and that's why he is who he is.
We got to come back, focus in game 4.
Nobody wants to go home. We want to keep striving and reach that goal.
All right, so after Game 3, Raptors head coach Nick Nurse mentioned that he wanted to change matchups, primarily on Giannis, who would guard him. He did that. According to Second Spectrum, Kawhi Leonard matched up defensively against Giannis 41 times, more than double any other player on the Raptors. In the first 2 games of this series, you may remember Kawhi was on Giannis only 19 times. So what happens? It basically shut him down in Game 3. When he was the primary defender, Kawhi held Giannis to 1 of 9 shooting. That's 11%. Can you even imagine that? That was his lowest field goal percentage against a single defender in the last 3 postseasons. So what do you think they're doing today? New on SportsCenter. Giannis is back in the gym. We got some shoot around here. He's probably working on it. What can I do to make sure I get my mojo back against that guy named Kawhi Leonard, who's one of the great defenders? So they're back at it. And then we had an opportunity to catch up with their head coach. What will you all do differently? Let's take a listen.
Better on both ends of the court. I think defensively, some areas where we just got to be a little bit sharper, a little bit better. Offensively, same thing. You know, we just sometimes your execution isn't where it needs to be, where you want it to be. And you know, I think individually, collectively, I think we'll play better tonight, and certainly what we expect.
All right, so we saw the game. They needed overtime, 2 of those, in fact, to get the better of Milwaukee in Game 3. But they might need to dig even deeper in Game 4. Is that 3 overtimes? I'm not for sure. But the Bucks have only lost consecutive games once this season, including the playoffs. Their .957 win percentage after a loss is currently the best by any team in NBA history. I think that means they're good, David. I'm not quite for sure.
That seems like the assumption I would draw from that.
Yeah, yes.
Coming up, the Super Bowl MVP cashing in. Adam Schefter live with what Julian Edelman's extension could mean for Tom Brady. Plus, Tim Legler on the Warriors star who he says is playing maybe the best offensive basketball of his career, and it's not Steph Curry.